In this video, we're going to have a look at importing images into your Lightroom catalog from an external device, such as a digital camera, memory card, or even an iPhone or iPad. Now we'll start off in the library module here, and remember you can see that because the library sign up at the top right of your screen is lit up. And we're going to work from here. Now the images in the screen right now are the ones we've been working on through the series, and they form part of my collection. These are not the images I'm going to be importing. For us to import, we're going to go bottom left-hand side of the screen and click the import button, which will bring up this screen over here. Now you'll see in the middle of the screen it says please select a source, because at this stage I've got nothing attached to my PC. The top left-hand side now, Macintosh HD and Gerry 1TB. Remember, those are my hard drive and my external hard drives. That if I want to import from any of these, I can select this here now, but we can look at that in the second video from here, not this one. So let's close that, and I'm now going to attach my iPad to my computer, which should bring up the top left. You'll see devices, Gerry's iPad. Now whether you connect your Canon 1DX or your Nikon D800, your iPhone, any memory card, anything, it will pop up here under devices. To select a source, because the computer is still asking us to, simply click on the iPad, and it'll bring up in the middle of the screen. Now you will see all the images on this iPad that you can import into your Lightroom catalog. Now the goal of this whole exercise is from the top left you'll see from Gerry's iPad, what you want to do with the images. You want to copy it as a GND or just copy it as the current file is, and you want to send it somewhere. Now to send it somewhere you can click on here and select the destination, but that's a bit vague for us. We want a little bit more detail. So we're going to start. You can now individually go and select or deselect any of these images in the source that you're looking at, or you can simply come to the bottom here and click uncheck all. Now let's say for example I want to just import the first 4 images. Right, you'll see they've lit up. As I hover my mouse over the other images, they light up and I can select them from there should I choose to. Right, I've now selected those 4 images are the ones I want to import. Before we carry on, have a look at the very top of the screen. You'll see copy, and you'll see copy as DNG. If you select copy, Lightroom's going to import these images with exactly the same file format as they are on the source. In this case, it's a JPEG file. You'll see img_0001.jpg. If you have RAW files or TIFF files or anything like that, you can choose to copy it and it'll keep that file format. If you select copy as DNG, Lightroom's going to convert your image into a DNG as it copies it into your catalog. With RAW files, such as NEFs or CR2 files for Nikon and Canon, you can choose to do this. There's some merit there, but for JPEG, let's choose to keep it just copy, so we'll do it nice and simple. Right, once we've now set it up, let's just backtrack for a sec. My source is Gerry's iPad. We're going to copy only these 4 images, and now we need to tell the computer where to copy it to and what to do with these images during that import process. So, as with all the other modules, you're going to start on the top right hand side and just work your way down this menu system. Start on the top, file handling. Right, you'll see now at the top it says render previews. Here you have the option, if you click on the little sidebar, this drop down menu will give you minimal, embedded and sidecar, standard and one-to-one. All that this is, as Lightroom imports the images into your catalog, it's going to create a preview for itself that if you zoom into that image, it can show you the finer details. If you select minimal, it will take a little bit longer each time that you zoom into an image for Lightroom quickly to create the preview and then to carry on. If you select one-to-one, Lightroom will create a nice deep zoom level preview for you, so that if you zoom into that image, it'll zoom in immediately and there's no time needed for it to actually render that preview at that point. This might take a little bit longer initially and it takes up a little bit more space on your hard drive, but it's definitely worth it to speed up your workflow as time goes on. So let's select one-to-one. Next step, don't import suspected duplicates. What that means is if you tick that line, Lightroom will double check that none of these images exist in my current catalog. I always keep this ticked just in case it was on another memory card or I've imported them before. If the import process then starts, this image will also blank out as if it was not selected. Right, Another one that's interesting, especially if you're traveling, such as photo safaris or you're going abroad for business and you want to make sure you save your pictures, is make a second copy too. If you have this box ticked, you can select a second destination to which Lightroom will actually import these images. We're going to give it the main destination down here. This will be a backup destination, such as an external hard drive, memory stick, or something of the sorts. So I'm not going to, in this case, make a second copy because I'm not too stressed about losing these files. But for now, let's close file handling. I'm happy with that. One step down, file renaming. This is where I'm going to tell Lightroom whether I want it to rename the files or just keep the original file names as can be seen underneath all the thumbnails on the left-hand side here. In this case, if you have rename files checked, you can click on custom name and you can decide on this drop-down menu, you can choose one of many different ways. File name with a sequence, just the file name, the shoot name if you had it on your camera, a custom name with a sequence. For now, let's choose custom name, and you can then here write your new file name. If you have various files, such as this one where we're importing 4, Lightroom will automatically call it file name -001, 02, and so on and so forth, so that you don't lose any of the files due to renaming of them. Right. You can at the bottom here, extensions currently says lowercase. That's a little personal preference, whether you choose the JPG at the end of the file to be lowercase or uppercase or leave as is. Much of a muchness really. Right, we're happy with that. Close file renaming. Now apply during import. Next step. The develop settings that you can choose from this drop down menu are the same ones that you can use during the develop module to apply single click changes to your image. This ranges from all the black and white filters, the toned presets, color presets, general things like auto tone, medium contrast, punch, and so on and so forth. Remember, you can also create your own ones in the develop module to apply when you import. Handy ones are things like noise reduction, lens calibration, and sharpening. For now, I'm not going to do anything, so let's leave it on none. Metadata. Let's have a quick look at this. Drop-down menu gives you new and edit. Let's look at a new one. For the purposes of this video, we're just going to quickly look at what it is. You can now create a preset here. Let's call it Gerry iPad. And you can now run through all of this and you can add information such as the copy name, the label, the camera info, GPS, altitude. You can down here enter your copyright details, your rights and terms usage, the creator, your country. All of this information can be written into the metadata of each file as you import them. Can be handy, and you can then create that this preset and apply it to every single import that you do. Where it could be handy is just to add your own copyright, something like that in there. So I'm putting copyright Gerry van Volt. I can put copy to my info URL, so I can put www.wildeye.co.za, and this information is then written into each file, so that if anybody opens the file and they look at the metadata, they'll see this information and becomes a part of it. So you can enter all of that information for any and all of your imports, but for now, I'm going to skip that step. So I just leave it on none. Now remember, I've got 4 files checked here to import keywords. Because I have these 4 files checked, any keywords I put in here, let's call it iPad, Gerry, and new import, those keywords will now be applied to those 4 images, so that if I look for them later on, it's an easy way for me to find them. Nice thing here is if you've done a trip or a photo safari to the Kruger, for example, you can go and say Kruger, animals, wildlife, and that automatically starts categorizing your images for you should you want to search through them later on. Right, I'm happy for all of that. I'm going to close that. And then destination, open there. By default, the Lightroom wants to import these images to your pictures file. I've already now gone and created a directory on my desktop called iPad images, and that's where I want them to go. Let me run you through an example of how you can create a directory right in Lightroom if it's not there already. Now, the 2 steps, you could either have gone in Finder or Windows Explorer beforehand, created the image, and then it'll show up here and you can just select it from there. Alternatively, click on your desktop, right click and say create new folder. That's going to open a little window like that. Create new folder, let's call it iPad images 2, create and choose. Now see, immediately it opens up my new directory, iPad images 2, and it automatically selects it. Underneath here you'll see it gives me 2011, 4 of 10, and 2012, 0 of 56. Now what that is, all the images on my iPad here, all of this here, it'll break it down and say, well, 4 of them, obviously the 4 we've selected, is going into 2011 because that's when it was originally taken or created then. Right, I've selected that. I can now go one step further by just going up a little bit and click into subfolder. Here you can enter your subfolder name, you can organize it by date or all into one folder, and you can give it the date format which you want to use for that folder. Not going to do that in this case, so let's unclick that and just double check we're still on iPad images. So I can close that, and I'm now ready to do my import. One more time. From the left hand side, my source is the iPad. I'm copying it, which means I'm keeping my original file format, and I'm copying it to, double check here, into iPad images 2. Remember now also we've done all of this, we've applied what to apply during import, my file renaming and file handling. When you're ready for all of that, you simply hit import and wait. What you'll see now, once this bar on the top left has run its course, all 4 images are now shown on the screen. So these 4 images are the ones I've just imported. From here, if I open my catalog, I'm going to see all photographs, quick collection, and previous import. Now, I can go and jump around, close Lightroom, open Lightroom, go to my normal images. Let's do that. So I'll click on all photographs. Now I'm seeing my entire database of images in one here. If I want to, at any point in time, until I do my next import, go back to those 4 images, I can click on previous import, and we're back there. From here on, it's the same deal. You can double click on an image to view it large. You can click develop to go and process that image, and double click to go back. That is a simple way, very quick and easy, to import images from an external device, such as a camera, card, or an iPad.